Kathy, I'm going to go ahead and give you the floor. I don't have any announcements for my club members. I had already emailed them yesterday about everything.
Keith, I'm president of a nonprofit called Kimoyo Limited. Kimoyo is a Swahili word which means language of the spirit or language of the heart. Kimoyo was started in 1997, and it was a project originally between two very, very different churches. The first church was St. John's Episcopal, and the second partner was Kingdom Life Ministries International. And then we became our own 501c3 after a mission trip to Ghana into the Upper East region, which our first trip was in 97. So Ghana was a very different country then than it is now. This was a very rural area, very poor area. It had probably the highest incident of child mortality for malaria of 5 and under. It was also one of the top 2 districts in Ghana that had the highest food scarcity rates as well as education rates. So it was considered one of the 2 poorest areas in Ghana. And we started that mission trip, and the first project, and I guess you introduce yourself and then I'll go into the project.
Oh, okay. Hi, I'm Ashton. I'm a board member of Kimoyo. I guess I got involved because in 2008, when I was graduating high school, I went to Ghana and got to see some of the projects firsthand. And then later on in life, I became a board member. So here I am.
Okay. Want to pull up the PowerPoint then?
Mm-hmm.
What this will be is just an idea of the projects that we have put in place over the last many years. And most times with a lot of difficulty, but things seem to have turned and running much better now. So our whole focus and our theme and our vision for now is empowering women today, changing communities forever. And the reason that we have focused on women is that we find when women in that area are educated and have access to funds and access to business loans and things like this, they change their entire family. And they make sure their child is educated, they make sure their child gets health care, they get on the national health insurance scheme. So we came to understand that if we could empower women, we could change so much about the family and the community. Our first project was built in 2003, and you can see it there. It's the Naapirabila Medical Center. It's in Zebula, Ghana. We have a medical director who was a Cuban doctor that came over many, many years ago and then became a Ghanaian citizen. She's extremely talented and well recognized for her medical expertise, but she also speaks 2 or 3 languages, and we have interpreters in the hospital who can take care of the many different dialects that are present in the Upper East region. You can see the detail there. We've got 19 employees. Our focus on a regular basis, malaria, typhoid, respiratory diseases, HIV. We started a project about 5 years ago where we bring public health to the villages, because there are probably 10 villages within a 20-mile radius of us. We treat about 12 to 15,000 patients a year. And we've had difficulty. There is a Ghana hospital, a national hospital there. But they're very, very strict in who they will work with. If you don't have money up front, they're likely not to treat you. So we made a decision several years ago, anybody that comes through, whether they have health insurance, whether they have any money or not, we're going to treat them and make sure that they are well taken care of. So we have an inpatient facility within that hospital, and we're now trying to get a surgical ward. We have a surgical ward, but it needs to really be enhanced so that it can deal with more difficult situations. Now we just do minor surgery. Okay, Ashton. Our second project, and this was really directed totally at the women, was to provide anywhere from $100 to $250, with the average being about $125, loans to women. And with those loans, we taught them about money management. We taught them about business planning. We gave them training with it. We opened savings accounts with them until they were established, and then those savings accounts became theirs. And the pictures you see are the various industries that people have gone into. There's a lot of guinea fowl trading that goes on up there. And we are on the major road from Burkina all the way down to Accra. So buses, you name it, everybody stops in Zebula to load up on guinea fowl and whatever else they can get. The second picture is a picture of a young lady that went into business selling all kinds of drinks, breads, everyday products. And if you can go to the next page. Okay, this is in the market itself, and these women sell anywhere from yams to peppers. This is a hairdresser in the middle. We have, from the beginning, put 188 women into business loans, and now we're trying to take the interest off those business loans and keep it as our core package where we can reseed for other women within that community. It affects the women tremendously. I'll get you one more. This is our next project with the women. We got a grant for this. It's called Totally Baked. The orange building you see there is a bakery. We had 6 women that wanted microloans, so we put them all together and taught them how to bake bread. We brought trainers in, and now they're moving into pastries. We got one of these radical little tricycles on with an engine there to take the bread out to different villages. So they are beginning to make basically 2 bakery runs a week. And so far, it's beginning to take off. We still have a lot of work to do with it, but there's a lot of excitement around it. And we do produce a very good loaf of bread if you're ever our way, okay? The next slide is a project that we started. And it's a business center. It was originally started as an internet cafe because 15, 20 years ago, it was really difficult to communicate. And so we got a satellite and all of that and started an internet cafe in order really for communication between Roanoke and Zebula. And what it turned into, we had a lot of students that came in that used it for research. And for many students, particularly the younger students, it was the first time they had actually seen a physical computer. When they were in school, they saw a picture of one, but they never had hands-on. So our center became an area where they could have hands-on experience. And what we've done now, as with the cell phone, everybody now uses that smartphone for all of their internet needs. So we've turned into sort of a business center where we type, we copy, and we do a lot of paperwork for the schools in terms of preparation of tests, as well as the government offices there that need extended copying and very secretarial skills. So that's what we've turned into with that, okay? The next business we started there is in the agriculture. And what we found in Ghana, the rainy season, if it comes, is basically from July through the end of September. If you're really lucky, it may go into October. And for the villages, and you're seeing a village area here, there's no farming during the dry season, only during the rainy season. And what we found is that it was difficult for farmers to grow enough crops to sustain their families for the entire dry season. So this was a real simple project. We just took we had a well built, and what we did was get a system in Accra, which is the capital of Ghana. We took it up country, and it's just a simple, every 12 inches there's a hole. Those strips you see are connected to a header pipe. The header pipe goes back by piping to a well. And so it releases as many times as they want to release water. You can see the difference. Nothing was growing when we first started. And on the left and the right, you see their first crop. For the dry season this year, they produced 4 different crops, which was extraordinary for their community. And so we saw the potential of this program. We contacted World Vision, and we're in the process of creating a memorandum of understanding where if they will take care of the well, we will build the fencing and put the drip irrigation process in so that each community can have a community garden that they are able to watch and take care of during the dry season. So this is a collaborative effort that we hope will touch many villages and many lives in that Upper East region. Okay, next one. Our next project, which is one dear to our heart, well, they're all dear to our heart, I shouldn't say just this one, but it's a soccer literacy. We found that girls in particular dropped out in anywhere from 3rd through 5th grade, and they either worked on the farm or they helped their mother in small businesses for the markets in that area, and they received no more education, and they had little hope of any future beyond being another woman's farmer and married off at a very early age. And what we found, and we started this program in 2009, we targeted just junior high age girls. But that doesn't mean that the age of them would be junior high. We had some young ladies that were old as 19 and some young as 12 and 13 that came into our program. And we set it up, we hired a coach for each school, and we now have, we're about to have 180 girls on this program in 6 different villages. And we give them a coach that will train them in soccer. Soccer is the biggest pastime in Ghana, bar none. And so we give them an hour's worth of soccer training. And they will come once a week and take an hour's worth of training in English and math and science and IT. And this program is very exciting to me because when it first started, these young ladies would hold their heads down. They would be very shy. They'd barely talk to you, and they didn't see any future. And now they're talking to me about where they're going to go to high school and where they're going to go to college. And just to give you an idea, the 2015 census of education within the area that we have our projects, only 36 women received an advanced college degree. And now these young ladies want to stay in school. One even told me that they thought they might be the president of Ghana in the next 15 years. So who knows? Their expectations have just soared. And it's a very exciting program for us. The other 2 programs are here in Roanoke, Virginia. The Kimoyo Enrichment Program is a local after-school program. We work with the Boys and Girls Club. We work with YMCA. We work with the Roanoke City schools. And we work with many different age groups within those schools. We have used our understanding of Ghana, and not just Ghana, but African history and art, various Ashanti kingdoms and various other type Mali kingdoms, to teach the incredible wealth of knowledge that has been present in African countries for hundreds and thousands of years, and how that enriched understanding of storytelling and enriched understanding of math and different subjects like that have impacted their communities. And what you see on TV is not the whole story of Africa. There's a rich cultural heritage. There are stories of moral understanding that are taught when children are young and become a fiber and a standard for later relationships. And there's a vibrant community that is resilient, full of joy, and has much to offer us. So our hope was to when we first started in the schools, you know, the only image really of African Americans was basically in slavery. And this program brought an entirely different viewpoint within the Roanoke City schools. At that time, they had a lot of different grant work, and we were in 13, 15 schools at a time. That has reduced since then, but the program's still very effective in teaching young people that to understand the nature of a global citizen impacts your life for the better. It broadens your understanding, and it makes you look more deeply into the slants of how sometimes cultures are presented in news reports and various other ways of communication. So it's a very powerful program for us, and we've just made a decision with all that's been going on to now begin to address cultural diversity within the classroom itself, and this is an after-school program, to try and really open up dialogue with kids in terms of how they see other cultures and other ethnicities, how they relate, what they know about them, and create a dialogue that we hope will broaden all of us in terms of being able to be more inclusive in our understanding and in our relationship with other people. And then our last program is the Kimoyo Soccer Cup, which is done Once a year, we partner with it was Roanoke Star, but it's now called Virginia Blue Ridge Soccer Club. And we are a major sponsor. Well, we partner with this, and we get our own sponsorships, as they do also. The Virginia Blue Ridge also gets its own sponsorships. Where we benefit is in exposure, number one, because we're a small organization. And although we've been around a long time, there are not a lot of people that really know about us. But where we really benefit is that the young kids bring all of their used soccer equipment. And so they bring shoes, shin guards, sticks, you name it, all kinds of soccer equipment that they don't use anymore. And we have taken tons of these to try to put in our after-school program in Ghana, where we give this equipment away to the girls within our program there. Sometimes we get as much as 20 uniforms that are just like, and that just thrills everybody in Ghana. We take soccer balls, the whole works. When we first started the program, there was not a single girl in our program who had shoes. Everybody played barefooted. So now they have shoes, they have shin guards, they have uniforms. So this is what Kimoyo Cup really how we benefit from it and take it to Africa. So that's sort of briefly what we do in terms of our program. If you have any questions, or I'll turn it back to you, Amber.
I did not know about the Virginia Blue Ridge Soccer Club. I did not know you guys were involved in that.
Yep.
One of my questions is how much do you do in microcredit loans between $100 and $125? Is that correct?
Yes, unless they have a good business plan and high motivation. We have gone up to as much as $500 loan.
Okay.
Person's just starting out, doesn't know how to read and write. We usually keep it at about 125 and try to work with them until they can get the hang of it.
Okay.
I just had a question about the Kimoyo's cup.
Yeah.
Do you guys get your donations? Is that all just through the Virginia Blue Ridge Soccer Club, or do you do advertisement or?
No, we do advertisements, and we get our own. We're allowed to get our own sponsors for the event.
Okay.
They have certain sponsors that have been with them forever, but we have sponsors that help us considerably in that particular tournament. And whatever sponsor we get, that money comes to Kimoyo Limited.
When did that the Kimoyo Cup happen? Is it the same time every year that you guys host it?
Yes, we're trying to get them to change because it's always on Mother's Day. So it's usually the second Sunday in May.
I love it. I'm really grateful for you taking the time to explain this.
Thank you so much for giving us the privilege of being able to talk with you and tell you about Kimoyo Limited. And we wish you the best in your own work in the Rotary Club and in Ghana in particular, but all the other things you do too. So thank you so much.
You too. And this will be recorded. So Kathy, if you ever need it for any of your presentations, or if anybody wants to know, they can go to our YouTube page and watch this video. Thank you, everybody. Have a great evening.